Hello my loves, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video for our halfway to Halloween series. As you can see, today we have entered Lily's salon. Now I am not a professional by any means, I just really love learning on how to do my own nails. Thanks to the panorama, I learned a new skill set and saved some time and coin. So for today's video, I figured it would be fun to just show you maybe doing a spooky nail set. I have some really fun possible stickers that we can incorporate, some nail polish that maybe we can try and recreate a design. I have some designs from Pinterest. These are some of the ones that I found. They look really cool. Some of them have cat eye, different types of nail tips. But for today's video, I'm going to be doing almond medium. I really love the way that that style looks on me. I typically do almond short nails, but I'm running low. So today we're doing almond medium. Now I have done my nail prep off camera just because it takes a little bit of time. So I'm pretty much ready to go and put these on. So let's go ahead and jump in. All right, so let's quickly go over some of the materials that you're gonna need to do your nail set. So you'll need a dehydrator. The one I'm using is from the Apres system. It's the pH bonder. I already had it. I've previously used the Apres kit with the stiletto size, but I ran out of those. So I've kept this just because look how full they are. They last forever. And then you'll need a primer. So I'm using the acid-free gel primer from Apres. I have my base gel. I also have a peel-off base gel. Both base gels are from the Beetles brand off Amazon. I've never tried the base gel, but I think that's what I'm going to try today because I do want to do more than one look. So I'm curious to see how this works. So I think today I'm going to be using the peel off base gel. And then I have a top coat from Beetles and sorry, I have a top coat, but this is the shiny. And then I also have the top coat matte. So I may want to do matte nail or two, so we'll see. We're gonna play around with the look. And then I have nail polish from the brand Model Ones on Amazon. One was kind of like a fall pumpkin kind of vibe, and the other one was way more like black Halloween silver kind of chromatic. So I have both, so we may interchange them or we may just do one or the other depending. And then I have the Una Gela Innovative Solid State Glue Nail Glue Gel, and this is for your nail tips. Previously, I've used a builder gel, but for some reason it just didn't last as long, so I think maybe that's user error. So until I figured that out, I'm gonna try this one out. I had great reviews on Amazon, so I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. And then next up are the nail tips. Now these are pretty inexpensive. These are the Beetles Gel Polish Almond Medium Nail Tips. They come with 504 pieces, 12 sizes, full cover, and half matte. And what I really love about these is they already come etched for you. You don't have to do the etching, which means you don't have to use the little drill to kind of etch the inside portion of the nail so that it adheres to yours. So I really love that because it takes away a step and we want simple here. I also have the UV LED nail lamp from Beetles. As you can tell, I bought a whole system of Beetles back during Panorama. So I still have the lamp. And then I have this little floral cute lamp. And this is great because I'm able to individually put on the nails, and you'll see in a moment, individually and hold it down to this lamp versus being awkward and trying to fit both hands underneath when you're pressing on the nail. So we use this little one first and then fully cure under the big lamp. So, all right, so now that we're ready to start, I just want to make sure that I don't have any oils on my nail beds. So what I'm going to do is grab a cotton ball. I have 100% acetone ready to go, and I'm just going to make sure that any oils I have are removed and it's nice and dry so that it's prepped for our primer and dehydrator before we can go ahead and put our nail tips on. Also, just a tip, it's a great idea to have maybe like a silicone mat underneath the area, like your workspace area of when you're doing your nails, because anytime you drip maybe nail polish, especially if it's gel or even acetone, it won't eat through the material, so you can just kind of wipe it off quickly and save your surface areas. So definitely, if you can, I think on Amazon, even maybe Walmart, you can find them in like a 3-pack for like $8, $12 depending on the size. Cannot tell you how many times they've saved my surface area. All right, perfect. So now that our nail beds are nice and dry, no oils, I'm gonna go ahead and put my dehydrator first. I'm using the Apres pH bonder just because this is what I already had. So this is gonna go on first, and you wanna make sure that you don't put it on your skin. Try to avoid skin contact as much as you can. You want to avoid getting any allergic reaction. These are pretty, I wanna say intense, you know, chemicals, just to make sure that these nail tips get put on and last long, right? You don't wanna develop contact dermatitis. So you wanna make sure you avoid any skin contact as much as possible. Step number 2 is going to be putting on your primer. So I'm grabbing the acid-free gel primer, and I'm going to focus this on the hand that I want to start with, and then we'll focus on the next hand once we have the nail tips on the first. So because my right hand is my dominant hand, and it usually takes me a little longer to put on the nail tips, I'm gonna do this hand first. And again, you wanna make sure that you do not get this product on your skin. You wanna make sure it's strictly on your nail bed. All right, now that the primer is on, I went ahead and just moved the nail tips over so you have a better view. We're gonna go in with the peel off base gel. Now this is my first time using this, so I'm excited. This does say to apply a thin layer of peel off base coat on the nail and cure for 60 to 90 seconds. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm going to cure it for 60 seconds and then we'll keep going. Okay, perfect. So now the peel off base gel is on, so we're gonna cure for 60 seconds. So I'm just gonna press 60 seconds on my lamp and put my whole hand in. You wanna make sure that your hand is as far in as you can get it to go so that all the nails are evenly underneath the lamp. All right, perfect, so it's done curing. Now we can move on to doing the nail tips. So because this is the first time I'm using this, I'm going to start with my pinky all the way at the end. So in case I make a mistake, you can't really tell because it's the last finger. So this automatically, I believe, is set to 60 seconds. For this nail glue gel, you only have to cure it underneath this little lamp for 10 seconds, and then you want to put it underneath this lamp for about 55 seconds. I just do the full 60 for each nail. So let's go ahead and try to put this first tip on. Now the instructions say not to put too little gel, so it can't be too thin and it shouldn't be too thick because it will overflow and then that can get caught underneath your nail. So I'm going to find a happy medium. Let's see if I can do this on my first try. So I put some on, let's see. So I usually like to turn this little lamp on so that it's going, since you don't need the full 60. Then I'm just placing it at the base at a 45-degree angle and pressing down until it reaches the front, and then I'll put it underneath the lamp so that it cures. And you want to make sure that when you have it underneath the lamp, you press down just enough so that bubbles don't form. You don't have air pockets underneath your nail. That'll create lifting. They may come off a little quicker than you would like them to. And you may have some spillage at the end. That's okay, you can just kind of wipe it off and clear it off. So that's 10 seconds. So now we're gonna move our little lamp. I always like to close my nail glue too, just in case. And then I'm gonna put 60 seconds on the lamp and just put my hands in. Now, typically, a lot of people like to use the UV gloves. I just haven't had a chance to get them, so that's gonna probably be on my to-do list this week, is to get the UV gloves, just so that, you know, we don't have early aging signs on our hands. Perfect, so first one down, we're gonna keep going. You're just gonna repeat this process for each nail. Now, when you're sizing, I know I didn't mention this before, when you're sizing your nail tips, you wanna make sure that the nail tip that you select for that finger covers the full amount of the nail tip, so down to the outer edges. You wanna make sure it covers it. Mine, I always have to file the ends of it just because my nail beds tend to curve a little more narrow on the sides, so I just take a file and file it down to size. And for these nail tips, I always have to file the tip because there's always like a little extra piece of like a jelly plastic, so you just file that down. It takes 2 seconds. So we're gonna move on to the next one. What I'm gonna do, just for the sake of the video and to test it out and see if this is a better way of doing this, I'm gonna put on all the nail tips and then I'll do my final cure with all of them underneath the lamp. And maybe that'll just save up on time from putting every individual nail underneath the lamp. So I'm finding that in doing this glue, I can kind of put it on the edge, almost to like a halfway point of where the nail is etched. And then that seems to be covering my full nail just perfectly, so there's not spillage happening. And you want to make sure that when you're pressing down your nail, you are directly in the center so that your nail tip isn't sideways or wonky to either side. And again, don't press too hard where it hurts or it's too much pressure. Just kind of lightly press it down so that the glue just has enough kind of pressure to push out and cover your nail so that it attaches properly. Okay, so we're on our 4th nail, and first time it happens that I just put a little too much. I got major spillage on one side. So what I'm gonna do is have some alcohol prep pads kind of on the side. So if you ever make that mistake like I did, all you do is wipe off the glue, take the little alcohol pad, wipe it off, let it dry. This is an extra step, but I like to just remove it off the nail and try again. As long as you're not letting that glue cure all the way down on your nail with the spillage, you're good to just try again. So now that I know I don't have anything on my nail, I've removed it off the nail tip. I'm gonna try one more time. All right, this time I focused the glue a little bit more right in the center of the nail. Still had a little bit of spillage on the side, just on one side. So I'm just gonna cure that a little bit less and kind of remove that with my other hand. Now, if it does cure and you can see the spillage, that's okay. What you can do is just file it down once you're done curing your nails completely. All right, perfect. So we have all our nail tips on our first hand. So I'm gonna go ahead and cure that for 60 seconds under the lamp all together. And now that we finished the top, we're going to flip our hands, kind of relax your hand just so that the glue towards the end of your nails is nice and cured. Perfect, so now they're fully cured, we can move on to our opposite hands. So as you can tell, I have my nail tips set up on the side of the hand that I'm doing. That's just to avoid confusion for myself and just to kind of stay organized, because when you have so many pieces around you, at least for me, I can get a little confused and disoriented at some point. So I just like to kind of prep everything so it's just quicker to get through. So since we only used step 1 on our other hands, we're gonna go ahead and do the primer next. Alright, primer's done. So now we're moving on to the peel off base gel. Alright, perfect. So now we have our Cure Peel Off Base Gel. So now we can start the process of putting on our nail tips. So again, just get your nail glue, do one tip at a time, and you want to just double check and make sure that the tip that you're grabbing is for the nail that you are intending to put it on. That's happened to me one too many times. I grabbed the wrong size for the wrong nail. Alright, perfect. Now they're fully cured. You're ready to get into the fun of it. Now, because I did have a little bit of spillage around the edges on my left hand, I'm going to go ahead and grab my little drill bit. And I'm going to file that down just a little bit, and I want to smooth out the edges. So now that we have our nail tips on, we can get to the fun part, which is trying to figure out what we want to do design-wise. I do have stickers that may be a little bit of a cheat. However, I usually only paint on designs to the nail tips if I'm just gonna press them on. So I have a press-on glue that I can use, but because they're already on our hands, I'm gonna use stickers today. It's just easier and it's a little quicker. So I have different ones. I have one with really fun teeth, ones that say spooky. I have Ghostface, cobwebs with little bows, which is adorable, different ghosties, and I'll make sure that you guys can kind of see close-ups of everything that I have that I might be using. I don't know what style I want to do. I don't know if I want to do like vintage Halloween type of vibe or just like a cool, I don't know, like smoky all black vibe. I'm not sure. Oh, okay. I feel like designing your nail tips is the hardest part because you do have to do both hands, even when you're using stickers. So for that reason, I'm gonna start with my dominant hand, doing it on my left hand, just so I see what I want to do and maybe simplify it, because I know I have to use my left hand to do it on my right so that it matches up. I do love symmetry, so I do try my best to make both sets look as close as possible. They might look a little bit like sisters sometimes instead of twins, but we do our best. So, and it's just having some fun in the process, right? So I think what I want to do, now that I'm looking at all the nail stickers, I think I want to do a mix between silver and white, maybe some moons, maybe do one nail that's has the cobwebs with the little bows because that's just so cute. So yeah, so I think these ones are definitely out. I want to do silver, so these gold ones are going to be used another day, same as these. So let's see, I definitely want to use these. I want to use silver. Maybe mix them up with white. Maybe these ones a little bit better. And then the bows. Oh, I do have little skulls too. Maybe I'll use some of the skulls on this one. All right, so I have narrowed it down to these options. So now we gotta pick our nail polish color. So I'm just gonna move over the dehydrator and the primer out of the way and the peel off base gel since we're done with those and we already have our nail tips. I've moved the nail glue. That's good. I have my base and then top coat and matte top coat. These I will move to the side. And I'm actually not going to use the second set of polishes. They were more of like the orangey kind of fall tones. So I will keep that for a future set. So I'm going to set those aside. What I like to do when I'm setting up my polishes, I don't know if that's just me being a little OCD or organized, whatever you want to call it. So I do my base gel first in order. I have, let me do the black, all black one, just so that I don't have to maybe open them as much. I'm going to do the black with the all around sparkles on it next. I'm going to leave the dark silver last and the more true to silver. Now the true to silver, this is a cat eye, so that's going to be fun. And then we have this almost like a deeper dark gray. But it does look dark enough to be maybe black. But this is also a cat eye, so that's fun. I have my little magnet here, so in case I want to attempt doing cat eye with that, I can. So let's go ahead and put on the base gel. I do like to do the base gel on top of the nail tip, even though some people say you don't really need it because the polish is good enough. I just want to make sure that they look as professional as I can get, even though I'm doing them at home. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the base gel, and for this I am doing my left hand first just to see what I want to do. For the stickers, I do recommend also grabbing a very sharp pair of tweezers, maybe like a flat one, just so you can peel off the stickers and place them onto your nail, because trying to do it with the nail tips is going to be nearly impossible. So definitely have a little pair of tweezers ready to go. I also have my little Cricut, what is this called again? Oh, the weeding tool, ready to go, just in case they really don't want to come off the back of the sheet. So that's on standby, but I think with the tweezer you should be good. So let's go ahead and put on the base. Alright, so now that we have our base gel cured, we're gonna go in with our base color. Now for the set, I'm gonna do a base color of all black. So I'm gonna do one coat at a time. Again, thin layers. You want it to cure evenly. And you can go ahead and wipe the edges off as you go. I do have a little towel on the side. Just so that when you cure the nails under the lamp, you don't have more work to do afterwards to remove that polish from the edges. You want to do that before it cures. Now that we have our first coat on, we're going to cure it under the lamp for 60 seconds. Okay, so now we can move on to doing another coat. This black is not as opaque as I'm used to, so hopefully maybe with just 2 coats we should be good to move on. Alright, perfect. So second coat is on and it's perfect. It's fully covered and opaque the way I kind of was going for. So we're going to cure this and move on to adding more color and the design. We are cured now the second coat, so now we can move on figuring out what nail is going to have what design. which I'm so excited about. Okay, so I already think I know where I want this like sparkly black glitter type of polish. So I think I'm gonna do it on my pinky. So I'm gonna do a thin layer of it since the nail's already opaque. I don't really need a thick layer. Alright, so I'm gonna take my tweezers and my first little sticker sheets, and I'm going to grab these really cute little skulls to put them on my pinky. So let's see, which ones do I want to use? I almost want to use these ones. Let's see if we can. Now what I'm doing is trying to figure out where I want the skulls to go first, and then I'm just tapping it down with my finger, and with the flat end of the tweezers, I'm kind of pushing them into place softly, just so that they're not moving around as I work on the rest of the set. So now that we have the little skulls on my pinky, we're gonna move on to adding, let's do the dark, kind of smoky cat eye. We're gonna add that to the ring finger. All right, so I am definitely not the best at cat eye. I'm still kind of learning how to do it. So I'm going to kind of play around with the magnet and see where I like the cat eye to go. Oh, okay, cool. I think I got it almost down the center. So I really like how that looks. So I'm going to leave it alone, even though I really want to do something else to it. So I'm gonna cure that for 60 seconds. Okay, so now that we've done the cat eye effect and we've cured it, I'm gonna go ahead and select a sticker to go on this nail. So I think I'm just gonna grab a crescent moon. All right, so I'm switching over to this little white sticker sheet with some moons. It has some little twinkling stars. We're gonna go ahead and grab a crescent moon to go ahead and paste that on our ring finger. So I do feel like even though stickers are meant to be a little easier, you just have to take your time and be patient, because if you incorrectly put one down, I'm seeing it is so difficult to try to peel it off and reposition it. So take your time, breathe, don't panic. Yeah, so we've added a little star to our crescent moon. I think for now, I may leave it alone. I'm trying to see if I want to add like another small one. Yeah, I think for now that's good. We're gonna leave that nail as is and move on to the next one. So leave that over there. Okay, so for the middle finger, I do want to add the teeth, the vampire teeth. I'm just gonna go ahead and slowly place that in the center, just so I don't have to reposition it. And make sure it is nice and even, hopefully. Amazing. Okay, so I've pressed it out completely, and now you don't even see the clear backing on it, which is fantastic. So I'm gonna just kind of do that to the other ones. Ooh, that's so fun. I love that so much. Okay, next we're going to do the silver cat eye, the light silver cat eye. And I want to do maybe the cobwebs on this finger. All right, so we did one coat of this lighter silver cat eye effect. I'm gonna do one more just because I want it to be a little bit brighter. So we're gonna attempt another layer. So now we can put on our little cobwebs. So for this one, I feel like this kind of medium-sized one is gonna be perfect. Oh my god, I'm obsessed. That looks so cute. It's like so subtle, you can almost barely see the little cobwebs, but I love the way it looks against the silver. Like the silver cat eye, it looks so cool. I love that. Okay, so now we're down to the last one on this hand. For this one, okay, we're not doing the bows again, we're not doing teeth. So for this nail, I'm actually going to make it matte, and I'm gonna have the bats because they're like a little bit of a shimmer right on top. So we're gonna do 2-in-1 for this one. So I'm gonna do a top coat for the rest of my nails, and then I'll do the matte for my thumb, since I won't be doing a shine top coat for this one. So regular top coat first. Let me not confuse them. Okay, so the shiny top coat is on. So now I'm going in with the matte top coat on the last nail so we can add our bats. Alright, so the bats are a no-go. You literally can't see them once I put them on. So instead, I'm going to do a Ghostface sticker. And I had a few actually over here. Let me just see. Okay, no, I'm gonna do one of these. I think I'm gonna go with this one. Alright, so we have Ghostface on our matte thumb, and I'm just going to put one little thin layer of the top coat just around the edge to kind of seal it down, and then I'll go over with the matte one on top so it stays down and you don't see it. So now that I've completed one set, we're gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing on my dominant hands. So I'll try to show you a close-up of how I got this on my dominant hand, and let's see how symmetrical I can get them. And that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and turn on your bell notifications for the next video. And if you decided to do a design on your own nails, please let me know what you ended up creating on your nails. I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to see it. Tag me on Instagram, follow me on socials, and till the next one, bye.